Happy World Constitution Day. I'm Kevin Frazier, the AI Innovation and Law Fellow at the University of Texas School of Law. And today I'd like to introduce you to the concept of using AI for writing constitutions. Constitution making is arguably the most fundamental democratic task, something I don't need to tell all of you on this exciting occasion. It enshrines core values into a written document that can endure for generations. It forms a political community of perhaps disparate groups with different pasts and different values, but it brings them all together. And it directs how governance is going to unfold for perhaps generations, if not centuries, if you live here in the United States, for example. AI carries the potential to drastically improve constitution making. Now, you may say, oh my gosh, AI in constitution making? You just told me it was the most important democratic task. And now you want to involve AI, the thing that hallucinates all the time? I know that gut reaction. I know that tension of thinking, why would you want to include a tool that can occasionally have some issues into such a pivotal moment in any country's democratic course? Well, first, I'll repeat a line I repeat frequently, which is today's AI is the worst AI you will ever use. And I'm going to go out there and say that a lot of the headlines about AI flaws and misuses generally are the result of folks who may not have enough familiarity with the AI tool, or perhaps are using that AI tool in a fashion that's outside of the proper domain for that use case. So, for example, there's a reason that you don't use a hammer to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's just not good for that task. But my co-author, Richard Albert, and I, in our paper, explore when are there proper uses of AI in the constitution-making process. Our goal is to walk step by step through that constitution-making process to show what are those specific tasks, those specific processes in which AI might actually be not only useful, but perhaps even preferable to relying solely on humans for the performance of that task. Well, let's briefly walk through what those tasks are. First, there's the decision to initiate constitution making. Do we even think we need to start either going through a reform process or an amendment process? Usually that's left to humans to say, now's the time to vote for amending our constitution or to vote for a constitutional convention. And sometimes, depending on who you ask, you may find that humans are perhaps ill-suited to saying, all right, you know what? We have finally reached a breaking point. Now's the time to reform our constitution. AI theoretically might be able to help with that process. AI may be able to detect when is the ripe moment for going through a constitution making process. Perhaps it can spot demographic trends that are going to require new systems of government or new approaches to governance. Perhaps it can help identify changes to the climate, to the economy, to our political systems that may warrant constitutional change. So in that way, we do see that AI could help in this pivotal task. That said, as with all use cases of AI, we have to be really sensitive to when it may be operating in a way that is antithetical to core to core democratic values. So when might it imperil things like transparency, participation, and the rule of law? Now, in the context of initiating constitution making, we see this as a moderate to high level area of sensitivity with respect to those values. So we need to be really sensitive about how AI is deployed in that setting. Now let's move to the second step, the research phase, helping the public and the constitution making body understand what are some potential avenues to go through to improve the Constitution as it is today and as it may be into the future. AI is really good at this research task. AI can uncover new documents. It can pull trends and pull patterns from places that humans may otherwise miss. It can help countries that may not have a deep bench of constitutional experts learn more about how to go through this process in a productive fashion. And at this stage, we're not seeing some of those sensitivity issues that emerged at that first step. Here, research is something that's typically done by a select few. It's typically something that is not left specifically to the general public. And so the use of AI here can really supplement and augment the ability of constitutional experts to chart a path forward. Now, what about that third step? Drafting the Constitution. Well, this is a really important task because getting language right, as we all know, in a constitution is critically important to how that document is going to impact the lives of individuals day in and day out. Well, AI is really good at this task too. You probably have used AI to check your email or to improve an essay. Well, imagine constitution makers using that same AI tool to make their language more accessible, to make that language more clear. This is a really exciting use of AI. Now, moving to the fourth stage, deliberation. How are we engaging with the public when it comes to getting their feedback on drafts of the Constitution or even reviewing the final draft of that Constitution? AI here can't wholly replace humans, and for good reason. There's something pivotal about having person to person engagement about constitutional changes and different proposals. AI, though, can help solicit more participation. It can find new means of reaching different communities by identifying groups that are most likely to perhaps not participate through traditional channels. It can also help the constitution making body translate documents into different languages or to come up with new innovative proposals to spread the word about that constitution making process. This, though, is a very high sensitivity task. We want to make sure that the Constitution is legitimate and is based off of real participation and real engagement with the public. So we shouldn't fully defer to AI in this context. Finally, there's the process of ratification. And this is arguably the most sensitive task involved in constitution making. Here, AI should not replace humans in saying this is the fundamental document we want to move forward with. That said, we can come up with interesting ways and very speculative ways at this point in the AI development curve of how best to engage the public in that ratification process. Finally, Richard and I explore the concept of a democracy shield to make sure that those core democratic values are those core democratic values are in place regardless of how AI gets used. And that's a really important thing because every constitution making process is grounded in different contexts. And so however AI gets used by country A or country B, we need to make sure that that AI is being used in a fashion that aligns with social realities, political realities, economic considerations, technical considerations, and of course, procedural specifications as well. So our democracy shield outlines a clear template for how to safeguard those values, however AI gets used in the constitution making process. Happy World Constitution Day. We're really excited about this paper, and we hope that constitution makers around the world find it informative. AI is going to become a more integral part of more and more democratic processes, and we think that this is a useful tool to help folks think through just how to use AI to improve the values we hold dear. Thank you.